New season, new empties. If you're new here, then hi, my name is Bekah. I like to keep track of my empties, not only reviewing them, but I like to tally up how much I'm using throughout the year, which products I'm using the most of. This year in total, our household has used up 130 items that I've counted. It's just under $4,000 worth of stuff, which is a lot of stuff, but this is also my job. And I do count stuff that I've emptied as well as Shawn, who is my husband. And he has a full skincare routine now. So let's get into it. I'm gonna start with skincare. I'm gonna generally try to go in order of application. So let's start with like mists, toners, all of that good stuff. The first thing I'll mention is the Torridon Dive In Toner. This is a true toner in that it is super lightweight. In terms of viscosity, it's very, very fluid. I loved it for summer because it packed in hydration. It gave me that much needed plumping factor without a lot of heaviness on the skin. It's also fragrance free. It's K-beauty. It's pretty affordable. I would totally use it again. I currently have switched out some milkier toners and essences for fall and winter, but I would totally revisit this again in the warmer months. If you're oily or you just happen to like lighter skincare, I would check this out. This is a very bougie indulgence. It's very much an indulgence. It's luxury beauty. This is the Surratt Hinoki facial mist, and it's like maybe one of the best facial mists I've ever used. It just makes the skin look good. I don't know how else to describe it. I used it under makeup, I used it over makeup, I used it during my skincare routines. It's just the right balance of hydration and glow without being greasy, and it doesn't break down makeup. It also doesn't get oily on the skin. Like I feel like a lot of bi-phase mists or more oily mists, not that this is oily, it's not oily, but I feel like more hydrating mists can potentially get greasy on the skin, and this never did that. And I used it and I really, really miss having it in my routine. If you are curious, I do have a discount code. It's Bekah15 because this is a luxurious product. On the more affordable end, I used up a Prequel Multi-Quench Plumping Hydration Serum. I love this serum. I think it performs just as well, if not better, than some of my high-end products and hydrating serums. It has glycerin, PGA, ectoin, and osmolytes. Ectoin has been a very trendy ingredient in skincare in the last year or so, and I feel like this serum just has this really beautiful slip to it. You can see there's like a gel quality to it, and it just makes the skin look so glowy and plumped up and healthy, and it's fragrance free. It's from Prequel, and they're very mindful of sensitive skin. I actually emptied this and immediately got a new one, and I'm already halfway through it. I use like 2 to 3 pumps morning and evening, and it just plays so well with other skincare too. This might actually be my favorite product from Prequel at the moment, which is saying a lot because I actually love the brand. I have a couple of other empties from them coming up. Some of these products I've emptied and talked about so many times on my channel before. I have 3 Dew Skin Deliverance serums. It's beautiful, it's hydrating, it has CBD to calm the skin as well as niacinamide. It's like a milky hydrating serum. Love that. Also have a discount code for them, which I'll include below. This is a higher end serum. This is Kate Somerville's Delicate Recovery Serum. I love the Delicate line. If you have sensitive skin and you are in sort of like the luxury market for a serum, I mean, I just love the Delicate line so much because it's all formulated with no fragrance, and all of the textures are kind of like milky and rich and yummy. They're very like ceramide heavy, and I feel like whenever my skin is sort of activated or stressed out, or I've overdone it with actives or retinoids or whatever, I always bring this into my routines, and I feel like it gives me that like plumped up hydrating feeling, but it also calms the skin. I love it. It is a bougier product. It has a milkier consistency like in the dropper. It's just really lovely. 2 serums that Shawn emptied because the man loves serums. He goes through serums so fast. I don't know how he does it. At this point in our relationship, he has a multi-step skincare routine. So I'll give him a serum and it literally lasts like 3 weeks. I don't know how much he's using, but his skin looks great. So the first one is the Peter Thomas Roth Peptide Skinjection Wrinkle Fix Serum. I think the claims on this serum are a little extravagant. It has peptides. It has matrixyl, which is, I think, a proprietary peptide, and it's a hydrating serum as well. They call it a non-invasive wrinkle treatment, but there's no retinoids, there's no actives in here. There's just like a high concentration, I think, of peptides, and it's a really nice hydrating serum. He really liked it. This also has a slightly milkier, stiffer texture. I did use it a couple times from his side of the counter, and I feel like it was really hydrating. It does have a little bit of fragrance, but not super intense, but he really liked it. The other one is the Kate Somerville Hydrocate Serum. This is part of their Hydrocate line. They have this, and they also have a moisturizer, both of which I really like. I feel like I use this up, actually. This one is also a slightly milkier serum texture. I actually really liked this in the summer with their Hydrocate moisturizer because I felt like they were slightly kind of refreshing on the skin, not cooling in that there are like mentholated properties, but I just find this line really nice for like summer, more lightweight hydration. Okay, this is the Laneige Water Bank Serum. The packaging is super cute. It is a lot of plastic, but it is cute. You twist it up and then the pump comes out right there. I do really like their water bank line. This does have a lightly floral scent, the whole line does. And originally this line only had one moisturizer in it, and they've recently come out with a gel moisturizer, a richer moisturizer. I kind of like the richer moisturizer even better. The serum is really nice. It's kind of a simple serum, I would say. It's hydrating. It does everything it's supposed to do. It was a little bit more scented than I think I would have liked. It has that like K-beauty, like white floral scent. And then we finished up a retinol niacinamide serum from Youth to the People. I really like this retinol. I think it was a great addition to their range. Retinol is a step up from retinol. It's a little bit more potent, but I did find it gentle. The niacinamide also helps with brightening. If you want to step into retinol, but you're a little bit scared, I feel like this is a good one because it's not too strong. It also is supported by ingredients like ceramides that will help sort of support your skin barrier as you're using retinoids. So this is a really good one. And then on the more affordable end, this is another one of my favorite retinols. This is the Naturium one, 0.05. 0.05 in terms of concentration is like a mid-strength retinol, I would say. If you're a beginner, start with 0.025 or 0.01. This is more of like a gel serum texture. Let me see if I can get any out. Okay, there's none left. Shawn used it up, actually, and he really liked it. It's a retinol that he was actually able to stick to and use really regularly in his routines. Okay, let's talk about eye care. These are the two eye serums from Deciem. One is affordable from The Ordinary, and one is higher end. This is the Niod Fractionated Eye Contour Concentrate. I've used and loved and emptied both of these multiple times. I don't think they're comparable products, but let me tell you how they're similar and how they're different. They're both eye serums, so they're hydrating, they're more fluid, texturally very different. So The Ordinary focuses more on peptides. It's a multi-peptide eye serum, so it is good for softening signs of aging, and it does claim to be slightly depuffing. I don't find it the most depuffing. There's literally nothing left in this, but it is really hydrating, and because it's so fluid, it feels cooling on the eye when you apply it. It's like a serum-y gel kind of texture, and I really love this in the morning and in the evening. In the evening, I do like to use a richer eye cream on top of this, but in the mornings, I just use this, and it's great, and it sort of plumps up the eye area because it is so hydrating. Niod, however, is a much more complicated formula. So this texture is kind of like, it's fluid. It's like water with like a tiniest touch of oil. It's not like greasy around the eye. There's just a little bit more like a slip to it. If you have puffy eyes, hooded lids, if you have any sort of like crepiness around the eyes, I would try this. I've probably emptied like 10 of these in my life, maybe more. I find that nothing really depuffs my eye area quite like this does. And I notice it because you can tell with my eye shape, I have what they call an epicanthal fold. So it's a double eyelid in terms of like Asian terminology, but it's still hooded. You know, like when my eye is relaxed, sometimes you can see it, and I'm looking straight ahead, and sometimes you can't. But when I'm using it, I feel like I have much more visible lid space, and it might only be like 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, but I can tell. And when I'm doing makeup, I can tell. When I look at myself on camera, my eyes just look wider awake because that hood is a little bit higher. And it's because my eye in general just feels depuffed. I don't know what it is. I don't know exactly how it works, like the science side of it, but I can tell you just from my experience that I can always tell when I don't have it in my routine. So anyway, these are very different. The only thing they have in common is that they're eye serums and that they're from Deciem, but in terms of function, they're really different. I just wanted to clarify that while I have these two empties together. And then I have a day eye cream and then my nighttime eye cream. So my daytime eye cream is the Dew Oracle Eye Gel. I really loved this. It is a gel moisturizer sort of texture. It's completely empty. I've talked about it before though. You can see it's like a gel texture. I found it super cooling, super hydrating. It wears really nicely under makeup, but it is a gel texture, so it's not heavy, it's not greasy, it doesn't interfere with concealer or anything like that. It just gave me the right amount of hydration around the eyes for daytime and nighttime too, but I do like something richer at night. And it also has peptides in the formula to help soften signs of aging. And then this bad boy I loved. This is the Make Beauty Orbital Balm Smoothing Eye Treatment. First of all, this is like such beautiful packaging. I love this like clay pink. This is what it looks like. This is a very, very rich eye cream. It's called a balm for a good reason. It's like stiff. You have to like warm it up to really spread it around the eye. Not in like a difficult way, just that it's like butter. That's the consistency. I really loved this for nighttime. I felt like it really stayed on my eyes throughout the night. Not that my skin didn't absorb it, but sometimes, especially as a side sleeper, I feel like I just like wipe off all my skincare if I'm in the night, if I'm sleeping. I don't know. I just felt like this was hardy enough and sturdy enough to like really grip onto my skin. And then I have a couple of different moisturizers. So the first one was my summer moisturizer. I loved it. I almost reordered it immediately, but I haven't just because I have other ones I'm using. This is the Lab by Blanc Dew's Oligo Hyaluronic Acid Calming Cream. This was a lightweight moisturizer. This did show up in my empties in some past videos, or sorry, in my favorites in some past videos. And it's a basic cream, but in a really good way. I feel like it was lightweight, but really moisturizing, super affordable. It's basically like under $15. And it is meant for barrier repair and calming. It's fragrance free. This whole line is really beautiful. I want it back, but I'm not gonna get it just yet. I also like the other products in this line. They have a couple of different lines, but their calming line is really nice. Also loved this moisturizer in the summer. So this is the Rice brand facial moisturizer from House of Towa. The container itself is really beautiful. It was a very simple cream, kind of similar in texture to the one I just mentioned. It has a nice like slip to it. It's not too rich. What I really love is that this includes rice, and I feel like formulas that have, this is a K-beauty brand, K-beauty brands that focus on rice really have this like brightening element to them. I loved the textural experience of using this. I found that it applied really well in the mornings and the evenings. It's a middle of the road moisturizer texture wise. Like it's not a gel, it is a true cream moisturizer, but it's not too rich. So I really love their products. If you haven't heard of them, I would definitely check them out. This is another great moisturizer for sensitive skin. It's the Bioderma Active Soothing Cream for sensitive and sensitized skin. Also fragrance free. This was a little bit richer than this and the House of Towa one. And I actually really liked traveling with this because it's so lightweight in terms of packaging. This packs a little bit more punch than this, but I really like it. And their Sensibio line in general is great. You know, I love their micellar water. I love this cream. A really good one if you need something sort of strengthening, but good for sensitive skin. Okay, this one I really liked, but it's just not for my skin type. So this is the Ordinary's Natural Moisturizing Factors plus Phytoceramides. If you love a rich, thick, buttery cream that has a lot of emollients in it. This is for you. I think if you have dry skin, mature skin, you would really like this. I mean, it's called Rich Surface Hydration Formula. It's hydrating, but it also really seals in any hydration. For me, it was a little bit too thick in that I felt like, I don't know, I like woke up with some congestion mornings after I would use this, but I really liked it on my neck where I'm much drier, and I really loved it on my body because I felt like it was such a rich, buttery experience. It's a good product. It's just not for my skin type. I did like using it up on my neck and chest and body. Another eye cream, this is the Jordan Samuel Skin Performance Eye Gel. This is similar to Dew Skin. It's a gel formula. So this is a clear gel. I don't know if you can see it there. And it's beautiful. This has more of a water break texture, I think, than the Dew Oracle Gel. And it's a little bit slippy. I feel like it wore really nicely under eye makeup, but it's also like a rich enough gel that I could use it at night. There's also like a tiny, barely detectable bit of mica in here that adds a little bit of not even brightening. It's more like a slight reflection that bounces off the eye. And you wouldn't even know it if you didn't know it was in the ingredients. It just has this really beautiful, like, brightening quality to it. Love that. Another Nyan product. This actually is almost empty, but it's expired, but I just opened a new one. This is their CAIL. It's their copper amino isolate lipid. This is a rich treatment. It's almost like an oil in like ointment form. And it really does come out as a blue colored ointment. I don't know if you can see it. If you haven't tried copper peptides, they're super healing. So this is something that I very much use when my barrier is compromised. I use this a lot when I'm traveling, especially in the winter to colder or drier climates. It's great for if you're in a hotel a lot. So basically you get out the oil and you kind of like, I melt it down between my fingers and then I pat it over my skin as the final occlusive emollient layer of my nighttime routine. Or I sometimes even use it just on certain patches where I need extra barrier repair and I need extra lipids, and it just heals the skin beautifully. To me, this is like something I reach for in a skin SOS, or if I'm traveling, or to preempt any barrier damage if you're using retinoids or something like that. So it's a beautiful product. Really, there's nothing else like it on the market still many years after its release. I love it. Here's another cream. Okay, so this is the Clarins Multi-Active Jour Niacinamide and Sea Holly Extract Moisturizer. Shawn used this up actually, and he really liked it. It's a very fragranced product. I like it as a cream, but I'm a little bit more sensitive to fragrance than he is. I can still smell how intense it is. So that's kind of why I passed it off to him, but he did really like it. I think I only used it once, but it is a rich, like beautiful cream texturally, just more fragranced than I could tolerate. Here's a treatment. Technically it's a serum. I should have mentioned it earlier. It's the Dr. Sam's Brightly Serum. You've heard me talk about this before. I did a dedicated video earlier this year on 2 brightening treatments that have made such a difference in my routines, and this is one of the products. The other one is the Mother Science Molecular Hero Serum. This is the product that made me fall in love with azelaic acid, and as a very redness prone person, it's been such a game changer for brightening my skin. So I am very reactive, and anytime anything's too much for my skin, it shows up in the form of like heat and redness and flushing. Same with after breakouts or pigmentation, it always shows up as redness on my skin. And this has been so amazing for controlling and bringing down that redness and evening the appearance of skin tone overall. It also has niacinamide, so that helps. It has bakuchiol, but those are kind of supporting characters to the azelaic acid. I just love it. I've been able to work with them since then, and I really appreciate the skincare ethos of Dr. Sam. So yeah, it's a favorite of mine for sure. I think I also have a discount code for them. I'll link it below. Pimple patches. The CosRx Acne Pimple, the red pimple patch is a classic. Although lately I have been reaching for my EasyDerm pimple patches a lot more. They have a couple of different like color boxes to use at different stages of your breakout. This is their most classic, like comparable to this one. It's beautiful. I find that they're really thin, but they really stay on the skin. You know, with pimple patches, you're not supposed to apply them over skincare. Well, sometimes I do. I'm a rule breaker.
Lock that.
And they don't always stick. Like these don't stick over skincare. This one does, and I really appreciate that. They have another one that's really good. It's like the most invisible pimple patches I've used for daytime. They're barely detectable. They come in the green box. I'll link both of them below. This is a really sad empty, probably one of my favorite skincare products of the year. It's the Skin 1004 Madagascar Centella Tea Trika Soothing Sun Milk. SPF 50 PA4 pluses. I like this better than their blue SPF. This is a true milk fluid formula. I've talked about it so many times before. It is fragrance free. It absorbs into the skin beautifully. It doesn't pill with anything else. It works beautifully under makeup. It's not water resistant, but for everyday, like day-to-day use, it's beautiful. And I can use it on my neck and chest where I'm the most sensitive. I honestly flew through this and I loved it. I'm going to repurchase it for sure. Another SPF that is available in this, this is available in the States too. It's a K-Beauty SPF though. This is not. It's the La Roche-Posay Anthelios Ultra Light SPF 60. This one is great. I think there's a little bit left in it. You do have to shake it up, but it just expired before I finished it. I love La Roche-Posay SPFs for water resistant SPF. So if I'm going for a walk, if I'm doing anything outside, if I am going to a festival or I know I'm gonna be out all day outside, you need a water resistant sunscreen. So this is what I use, especially in the summers, but anytime I'm doing an outdoor activity, because something like this won't hold up if you're sweating, whereas something like this will. And of course it's available easily in the US. How many sickle fates can one person use? A lot. This is what I use for eczema, sensitive skin, irritated skin. It's not a sexy product. There's zinc in it, so it leaves a white cast, but it's really healing. Zinc is actually what's in diaper rash cream, so it's meant to be healing. This is a little bit more elegant than that, but it's not a bougie product. It just heals my skin when I need it. I have a couple of lip balms. These are from Make Beauty again. It's their serum lip balm in Halo Moon, which is just a sheer pink. It's basically clear. And their Sun Flame, which was a corally tint. I have one of these in basically every handbag. I have one in my top drawer of my vanity. I have one on the coffee table downstairs that I use when I'm watching TV. So it's a beautiful formula. I've talked about these so many times. It's like a gel. It's not sticky. It is like a gel serum, and they're so hydrating, but they're not too heavy. Again, they don't leave any residue behind throughout the day, which is why I like to top up with these, which is why I've gone through so many of them. So I do have a discount code for Make Beauty. It's Bekah 15, I think. This one is much richer, and I actually gave this to Shawn and he used it up. It's the Dr. Rogers Restore Healing Balm, and this is a true balm, ointment sort of formula. He really liked it. I think it's the kind of thing where if your lips are chapped and cracking and broken, this is the kind of thing you want because it really seals in moisture. So that's a Shawn empty. And then I have a couple of hand body things. Naturium Glow Getter Multi-Oil Body Wash. This is the yellowy looking one. I love this. I love all of their body washes. I'm sure they're best sellers from the line because one, they're huge. 16.9 fluid ounces, 500 milliliters. I feel like I can use them really generously without feeling bad because they're so well priced. And I also like this one for shaving because it has that oily quality to it. It doesn't just slide off the skin. I think it's great for shaving legs, stuff like that, because it gives you just the right amount of glide. And I also have a code with them. It's Bekah 15. Yeah, Bekah 15. I have a L'Occitane hand and body lavender liquid soap. This is actually their refill. They sent me a PR package with a refill bottle and then an aluminum pump bottle. I love their lavender scent. I also have their lavender bubble bath. The thing I love about L'Occitane's lavender scent is that it's very green. It's more green than it is floral. I love the scent of lavender, but sometimes when it's too floral or powdery, I don't like that. And this sort of has a bitter greenness to it that makes me, I don't know, it just feels a little bit more true and photorealistic to actual lavender. And I also like that their refill bottles are a very thin plastic. It's not a lot of thick plastic, it does make sense, although they do come with refill pouches, which I think are even better. Here's another prequel favorite. This is the Urea 10% Urea moisturizing milk for face and body. Urea can have a gentle exfoliating quality. It's not anything like your AHAs, your BHAs, but it can kind of soften the skin. I really loved this for arms and body because it has that slight softening effect. Again, not super noticeable, not irritating at all. This also has niacinamide for brightening along with shea butter. So it just gives you really smooth skin. And I also liked the milky texture. It's not like a body cream where it's like a stiff lotion. It comes out and it's a little bit more fluid, milky. And so if you don't like a traditional body cream that might take too long to absorb, you might like this because it absorbs really quickly. And similar to the Naturium products, this is also really big. It's 13.5 ounces, 400 milliliters, very well priced. I love all of their body products, honestly. I actually have another one here. This is the prequel hand cream and it's called Hand Wrap. I actually need to repurchase this because it's water resistant, which is so cool. I've done a shorts review of this, but basically you use it, it goes through a texture change. So it goes through like a water break, it feels kind of wet, and then as it sets down, it films a form around your hands. And so if you work a lot with your hands, if you're a nurse, if you do any sort of manual labor, this is gonna be really protective because it sort of creates a seal around your hands. Not anything you can feel, like it's not like filmy in a way you can touch, but it does protect your hands a little bit longer than a traditional hand cream. And it's also unscented. So it's great for if you do work with your hands, if you're a nurse, a doctor, whatever, you don't want fragrance, this is great for that. And then finally, I have a Skin Smart Rash and Hive Care spray. This is a hypochlorous acid spray. Skin Smart actually sent me a couple of different versions, and this is the one specifically for rash and hive care, which if you're a rashy, hivey girl like me, or if you have eczema, dermatitis, any of that, this is a great one. They specifically say it's a family-friendly spray for management of minor skin irritations, which means it's good on all ages, and they specifically name bug bites, heat rash, poison oak. I use hypochlorous acid on my neck and chest every single time I shower or anytime there's heat. I'm very prone to redness, dermatitis there. That's just where irritation shows up. And I find that with the regular use of hypochlorous acid, it's a lot easier to manage. It's not a miracle product. It's not that you're never gonna have irritation, but it does really help. And over the summer when I got bug bites and things like that, this did help calm my skin. And then for makeup empties, I have a couple of like empties / declutters. La Roche-Posay micellar water. I have like a couple of uses left, but that will be empty soon. It's a great micellar water. A couple of mascaras. I have the Clio Kill Lash, their long curling version. If you have little baby lashes that won't hold a curl, you'll know Kill Lash is the way to go, but they are not easy to remove. So just be aware you do have to take some time with an oil cleanser. And the Rare Beauty mascara, which I've loved and emptied many times. I don't typically love a bristle wand like this that's so big, but something about this just creates a really beautiful, very black, very defined, fanned out, voluminous lash. And then I have a Armani Power Fabric concealer. This used to be my all-time favorite concealer. I feel like they're phasing it out and I've emptied it and I have not repurchased it, but I do still really love it. And I hope they don't phase it out because it gives you like just the smoothest, blankest canvas for the under eye. And it just, I don't know, something about it is very thin and it's spreadable without losing coverage and pigmentation. This was my favorite for many years. The Tower 28 Sunny Days SPF or tinted SPF, mine is the shade 30 PCH. I really like this. Mine's expired. It's actually long expired. It expired August 2023. I realized that as I was doing a declutter. I really love this. I haven't used it in a while. now. I feel like there are so many tinted SPF options out there, but it is nice because it's on a natural finish side. A lot of times tinted SPFs can be quite dewy, and the shade range is excellent as well. And then I have two Estee Lauder Double Wear foundations. Both of these are about half empty, but I think they're expired and they're separated. Again, it's like a classic foundation. It's great for if you want something full coverage and long wearing, but these are just expired. And then the Shawn and I Anti-Pollution Mattifying Cream. I actually have a current one of this open. This is a Declutter. It's a really, really good long wearing primer if you have oily skin or if you like matte skin. It's nice because it doesn't give you like, it's not pore filling in the way that like Benefit Professional is. You only need a very small amount, but it creates this like barrier over your skin. It makes your skin look super smooth and super long wearing. It's great for summertime or if you live in a humid environment where you really need your makeup to stay on and not slide around. It's one of my favorite primers in this category of long wearing sort of mattifying primers. I think that's it for me. I know that was a lot of stuff, so let me know if you have any questions. I think I have one more empties video that will come at the end of this year to sort of round up my 2024 empties. So look for that at the end of the year. I'm already thinking about like end of the year holiday content, and this year I'm actually going to publish my best of beauty much earlier than I usually do. I got a request to publish it actually before Black Friday, which I think is a good idea for people who are bargain shopping. So I'm working on that. And Sephora sales coming up. There's just like a lot happening. So I'm very busy on my end trying to get these videos up for you guys. I hope you enjoyed and come back for those videos. Bye.